Welcome everybody to Kiss the Reviews. I am Armando. That's Corey, wherever he's at. And again, this is Kiss the Reviews. We did The Rock, if I remember correctly. We did The Rock.
We did.
The last show.
Well, he goes by Dwayne Johnson now.
He does.
But
So we did The Rock with the last show. And this show is special to me because we're doing Con Air. Apparently, we're going to do a whole slew of Nicolas Cage movies.
yeah, we're going through a bit of a Nick Cage phase right now.
This one a little bit different than The Rock. He does a little bit, just a little bit.
That's the best joke you've told in the series.
He's still like Nicolas Cage is still in well, I guess he wasn't in the military, he was in the FBI, but now he's in the military.
He's still an ass kicker though.
Still an ass kicker. But he's had training now, so now he's a trained killer.
Yes.
He's not just he just doesn't fall into becoming an ass kicker in this one.
Which was actually apparently something that had to be done in the 90s, was registering yourself as a lethal weapon. But we're not even close to that part yet.
These are lethal weapons. So it's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Again, a movie that I loved and I've probably seen, I don't know, probably 10 times.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be watching it again.
Oh, why?
I almost didn't get through this whole thing this time.
It was bad.
I had to take a break about 45 minutes in.
Every time I heard that stupid ass Trisha Yearwood country ass song, I was done. And then I had to talk myself like, this is your job, stupid. Keep watching.
So you do your IMDb thing. What is this movie about, Corey?
Con Air, released in 1997. Newly paroled ex-con and former U.S. Ranger Cameron Poe finds himself trapped in a prisoner transport plane when the passengers seize control. Bum bum bum.
I mean, I guess that's a view from 30,000 feet, no pun intended. But
I think that pun was very intended.
You know what? It wasn't intended, and as it was coming out of my mouth, I'm like, ah. That was just as bad as some of the one-liners in this movie, because there are hella one-liners in this movie.
Yes.
I'm gonna start off by saying this. This movie is about, again, the ineptitude of the U.S. Marshal Service, the FBI or CIA or whatever he's DEA.
The entire Department of Justice.
Like every single person that holds any sort of weight with any U.S. military, or
if you have a badge, you're dog shit at your job. And I don't
and they make fun of guys that are smart in this movie. Like John Cusack is like the smart, heady.
Yes. And you can tell because he's wearing socks with Birkenstocks.
Yes, he is.
Which, by the way, never a style.
No. And I actually put, because again, I tried not to take too many notes, but I put in here as one of my first notes, did anyone else notice that Cusack wears socks and sandals with his suit? And
to work!
And apparently his linen suit?
To work! Unbelievable.
Oh, my
Unbelievable. God. Yeah, this movie to me, if I were going to sum it up in one sentence, it would be the Department of Justice is a clusterfuck.
Exactly.
Because not only do they do nothing right, not one protocol that they have had set up works to their benefit.
Yeah.
No part of it. And they are just a mess and they're arguing over jurisdiction the whole time. It's my plane, I'm the TA. This is a disaster that could have been avoided in like 2 easy steps.
Exactly. Well,
but we're jumping way ahead.
Yeah, we're jumping way ahead. I want to start at the very beginning. So he comes home from apparently ranger training, like he just graduates. He's like
no, he was overseas somewhere.
Okay. Okay.
is what we're led to believe.
Okay.
He's a overseas Ranger veteran.
Okay, so he goes to the
And he
bar.
just comes home from deployment,
Yeah, he goes to the bar where his wife works.
which is also at an oil rig.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
And apparently there's 3 drunk assholes in the bar. One is the leader. You got to have the leader drunk guy. But the asshole at the beginning that is talking shit, first of all, he throws money at him and says, "Why don't you buy us some drinks?" No, you just gave him money. You're basically just asking him to get you drinks because...
Right.
But anyway, he needs to learn how to talk shit better because he says, I wrote it down, it's because of pussies like you we lost Vietnam. It's 1997. When, weren't there other conflicts and wars since Vietnam by that point?
Yeah, the first Iraq War, Desert Storm.
Like,
Boom, done.
Wasn't there? But you're gonna go back. That's just so asinine. Like the guy in this film was probably 5 when they were in Vietnam. So why are you even bringing it up?
And what? Now, look, I will be the first one because the opening sets place somewhere in the South, Alabama, Louisiana.
I believe it's in Mobile.
Mobile, okay.
Yeah.
I will be one of the first to jump up when it's time to take a shit on the South.
Yes.
Never, ever, ever could I imagine, other than like the Civil War, a fully decorated United States Army Ranger comes home in full dress uniform
and gets shit on.
And is shit on in a busy ass bar on a Saturday night.
Why?
And everybody's just like, there goes Tommy again.
Yeah, because she goes, he's a regular. He's like, yeah, I'm a regular.
Yeah.
A regular dipshit. Like,
dude, they would fucking kill you. They would murder
flash
everybody
forward.
you know.
And why?
Over that one slice.
And why? Because his wife's kind of hot? Oh,
right.
Okay. Sure, whatever. Flash forward to, 2 scenes later where it's a downpour outside and they're just waiting for this dude. Like, I didn't like the look on his face. So
yeah, they're like hanging out at a fence.
Yeah.
Which is like separates the bar and the parking lot for the bar from the oil rig. Like the big oil dike that's working in the back.
Don't call people names. But he calls him Gomer Pyle, first of all. Like, his references are so tired. Like, he's Vietnam, Gomer Pyle. Like,
let's hurry up and get this shit over with so I can watch Leave It to Beaver tonight. It's a new episode.
So, it's so in this first move, because she's, and his wife, and I think this is a movie about Nicolas Cage going to jail for a long time because he just didn't listen to his wife. Just because he had plenty of time to get in the car.
That's what I was saying. Like, the whole like, oh, hey, Gomer Pyle. Hey, guys, talk to you tomorrow. You're gone.
Exactly.
The entire situation is avoided.
And then on the way home, I'm looking at my wife like, why do you work there? Like, you're going to get sexually assaulted by one of these guys.
Yeah. If it hasn't happened already.
Yeah.
And if he's been deployed, how is she newly pregnant?
I don't know. Maybe he's only been deployed for a little bit. Or maybe she was... I don't know.
At best.
Maybe.
She doesn't have a bump.
No.
Literally anywhere.
No, she has abs.
Throughout the whole fucking movie. Yeah.
So, but this is... The first move from the drunk guy is to rip off the shit on his uniform, his fucking commendation. What are they? What are they called?
His medals.
Yeah, okay.
His bars.
Yeah. So he rips off all of his shit. That's your first move.
Well, it works because dipshit goes, huh? You ripped off my medals?
And then they attack him.
Yeah.
But then they attack him. And then he beats the shit out of him and Hakakacha kills the one guy.
When he pulls a knife.
Yes, after he pulls
I
the knife.
very clearly is holding a knife.
Yes.
Opens it up. You even hear the click over all the rain and the fighting and the oil going in the background and the bar.
So they cut to his trial, which the trial scene is 3 seconds long.
And his lawyer tells him, "You don't want this to go to trial. You can get life."
He said you can get 7 to 10 years.
Oh, and he ends up getting 8 anyway, right?
Well, he said you can get 10 years if you just plead guilty. You'll get like you'll only get 4.
Yep.
So he gets 7 to 10 anyway.
Yeah.
He pleads guilty. The judge, listen, again, I've never been in the military. I don't know how this works. Wouldn't he have gone to trial, like a military trial? Would it have been a civilian trial?
It would have been a civilian trial because apparently he was done. Like he had retired.
Oh, okay.
Like he wasn't in the military anymore because they even said, like, we hate to lose you.
That aside, he gets 7 to 10 years for defending himself after he was attacked by these 3 dudes. He kills the guy after the guy pulls a knife on him, which I
was about to rape his wife.
Yes. Everyone in the bar saw the altercation. His wife was a witness outside the bar when they attacked him, but yet he still gets 10 years for defending himself? Question mark? Like,
well, that's one. 2, a plea deal suggests that the district attorney came to you and said, "Here's what we're going to offer you to avoid a trial."
Yes.
Judge also agrees to this. It's not a situation where your defense attorney goes, "Yo, man, just plead guilty." And you go, "Fuck it, I'm guilty." And they're like, "Yeah, you are. 8 years." That's not how that works at all. At the bare minimum, he's getting a retrial based on the fact that his fucking defense attorney just got debarred.
What a shit lawyer. Just
unbelievable.
Was it like his brother, uncle, cousin? Like I don't know.
Joe Pesci was defending his cousin in another part of Alabama and didn't have time, so he just called another dude.
Yeah, they didn't have time to show the whole trial because he kept saying 2 Utes and whatever.
This whole trial set, and that judge, by the way, have fun never being a judge again, because you just sentenced a U.S. veteran who defended his wife
and himself
against rape and himself by killing one guy. Didn't kill all 3 of them. He killed one guy. That was the guy that pulled the knife.
Yes.
The other 2 guys, oddly enough, just kind of stumbled away.
Well, and if you notice,
like, oh, fuck it, Billy's dead. We're out.
One of the guys that stumbled away had the presence of mind to pick up the knife and run. Like, I don't know if that was meant to be in there, like
subtext.
I guess.
Why it's just straight, like,
yeah.
Soldier Boy came home and just like, you brain through the nose. I'm going home.
Here's the other thing. They get into now that he's out. He's getting out, and there's a whole slew of things that happen while he's in, like the whole montage of him working out in prison.
He lives in the worst prison, by the way, because there's like a riot for the first 5 minutes of that montage. Yeah, you know how long in a montage 5 minutes is?
But
that's an eternity.
One question too, because this comes up later in the movie. His daughter writes him a letter like, "My birthday's July 14th. My daddy gets out on July 14th. My birthday, my daddy, July 14th." She's got to be what, 10 at this point?
8 at least.
I mean, at least. So at 8, I mean, you've met my son.
Yeah.
At 8, and I'm basing this off of actual knowledge of what a child is like, I don't think my son would have written something that simple at 8. I'm just throwing it out there, but whatever. We'll move past that. They now decide, okay, this guy's going to get transported, and apparently him and his cellmate are both getting transported, which they never tell you what. And his name is Baby O.
Baby O.
So they never tell you what Baby O did, but he's in prison, but he's like a good guy. Like, okay,
But he's supposed
cool.
to be. He's done some really bad shit.
Yeah, but okay.
Because this plane ride's also for the worst of the worst.
Well,
they make that very clear.
they-
He's just hitching a ride home.
They say that this is for the worst of the worst. So you're going to put a parolee on a plane full of worst of the worst, like rapists and murderers.
You got
and,
Manson, Bundy, Gacy, Richard Ramirez, Eileen Wuornos, and Cameron Poe.
and Cameron Poe. So the one thing that struck me is that it's the worst of the worst, but Diamond Dog is on this flight. This is the worst of the worst. Now, he bombed a NRA thing, whatever, but when Cusack is setting up his character and going through, which is like the worst scene, like, you know, this is Billy Bedlam.
They might as well have just flashed on the screen. Exposition, exposition, exposition.
So he's going through all that. They get to Diamond Dog, and you know, which is played by Ving Rhames.
Yep.
And they say, you know, this is Diamond Dog. He did X, Y, and Z, and they say something. I wish I'd written it down about how they're making a movie about his life, and Denzel is playing him, even though he's 10 times the size of Denzel. But whatever. But he's done more for like the black community or something, or a wake up call for the black community, something like that. But he's in jail, and he's the worst of the worst. Okay, cool. That's fine. Because Dave Chappelle is also on the flight as
he's just a crackhead.
As Pinball, and he's just a drug dealer. Like, that's it.
By the way, hilarious.
The best part of this movie, and I also read that he ad-libbed all his lines.
Did he really?
Yeah. So everything that you see, for the most, like all his interaction stuff, it's all ad-libbed. So he ad-libbed, because he has some of the funniest lines, because obviously the writer couldn't come up with those, because the rest of the movie's dog shit. But so that's great. So you have the worst of the worst, Diamond Dog, Pinball, and you got Bubba Gump on the flight, which we never know what he
Baby O.
You know, and these are
he's just got really bad diabetes. So that's why he's on the plane.
Can we talk about
this guy's diabetes is the worst of the worst?
I actually this is one thing that I actually wrote down. Okay, so I wrote Baby O's diabetes is like one of the most major flaws in this movie. All the writer had to do was call Alex Cross and get the PDR and look up what diabetes is. It takes this much research, because what he has is not
you just a regular dictionary for that shit.
He's either got the meat sweats or some other disease that isn't diabetes. Don't give him insulin, because you might kill him, because he doesn't have diabetes. Just to let you know.
He's had untreated syphilis for the last 15 years.
Because he's sweating profusely. And if he's got a high blood sugar, which is why you would need insulin, you don't sweat profusely. Like that's not a symptom of high blood sugar. That just means it's hot on the plane, apparently.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, he's like, "Hey man, I need my shot. Hey man, I need my shot." And he keeps pressing about a shot, and then like he goes from "I'm cool" to doubled over, like he has the bends,
and
just pissing water out of his face.
This is the other thing. And you won't die right away. Like, you'll go into a coma you'll go into a diabetic coma before you die. But he doesn't know whether he needs, like, if you're a diabetic, my wife's diabetic, so this is how but if your sugar's high, you can tell, like, hey, my sugar's high, I'm getting a little cranky, you know, I urinate frequently, you know, whatever. But like, they never check his blood sugar, so they don't know what his blood sugar is. So like, does he need insulin? Because if they checked his blood sugar, I'm sure it'd been normal, because he doesn't have diabetes. Like, it just doesn't have it. And then there's not a time limit, because he keeps stressing, like, in 2 hours I'm gonna die.
Right.
That's
Like I
not
get my
how
shot by 6.
that's not how diabetes works.
No.
just to throw it out there. So this whole baby O has diabetes thing is complete bullshit. So, and that's not how diabetes works. Let's move on.
Fair enough.
So you have these monsters on the plane.
And of course, you're leaving out John Malkovich, Cyrus the Virus.
John Malkovich in this movie plays that part to perfection. I
Yes, he does.
love John Malkovich. Like,
He's so understated. And
if
the only time he shits the bed is towards the end, when he's like, the last thing your daughter's gonna smell is my rotting flesh. It's like mouth is doing Willem Dafoe shit.
yeah,
It's just like, bro, over the top. But he's so cool and understated the whole way through.
Yeah. And he did great. I thought Ving Rhames did great.
Yep. Steve Buscemi,
Danny Trejo,
Johnny 23,
Johnny 23,
Danny Trejo.
Did a really great job. Back when
and that was like one of his one or two bigger roles because it was like Desperado and
he was younger in that.
Yeah.
Like, and not thin, but not like he is now. Like now he's got all the muscle and the big muscle gut. Like I take steroids, but I also drink a lot of beer.
Right. That's how my gut accidentally looks right now.
But they all did, and Steve Buscemi plays a great role in it. But like, I don't understand the guy who plays Billy Bedlam, right?
Yeah.
It has this like,
I'm talking like this,
and
the whole way through the movie.
You weren't in my cell block. I would have noticed you. Would you have? When you're in prison, would you have? Would you care? You're escaping on a plane. Would you even give a shit about Edgar Allan Poe in the corner?
Like, are you just feeling the itch because you're Billy Bedlam? Like, you got to wreck some shit?
Exactly. So, like, he makes it
absurd that he gets such a hard-on, too, for Cameron. It's just like, hey, man, I don't know you. What are you doing in my way? Shut the fuck up. Who cares?
The funny thing is, like, all of these criminals, whether they're, like, monsters or they just apparently got caught selling crack on the corner. It doesn't matter what they've done. They know everything about all of these guys on the plane. Like they got like the manifesto from the and they just did research on everybody before they got on the plane. Like they automatically know who everybody is and what they've done and specifics about their crimes and all of that stuff, which is
the one thing I will say in defense of that is apparently like big notorious serial killers and some of they're all kind of competing.
Yeah.
Like the ones in prison and shit, they keep track of the guys on the outside. You know what I mean? Like it's all a little competition to them and who's the best, who's the worst.
Yeah.
So that I kind of get why they would know each other. Now, the specific intimate details they know are absurd. Like even Nicolas Cage, when Billy Bedlam says, you know, oh, I didn't know you. I was on that same block. He's like, there were how many people? 162
or something.
And he
like
wanted
that?
to know 159 of them. You mean to tell me you're North Block and you know literally 100? I'm free and I don't know 160 people. Are you out of your fucking mind?
They're in my neighborhood.
I don't know my neighbors across the hall from me.
I don't know my neighbors, any of them on either side across. I don't know any of their first names. Not a single one.
I can barely tell you my phone number.
Maybe I'm just an asshole, but I don't know any of them.
Well, we are two antisocial nerds on fucking YouTube right now talking about a 30-year-old movie. So I think we might be assholes.
But yeah, the whole movie is just, it's absurd. I will say this, and I thought about this about halfway through the movie when I took my break. I was like, it got me through the rest of it. I was happy that at least it was an original thought, and they weren't just rebooting something. I'm like, back in the late 90s, it was like there was a lot of like improbable, ridiculous premises to movies, but I'm like, at least they were trying.
Yeah, they're throwing some shit up against the wall. Why not?
Now,
some little stick.
With that said, here's some things that didn't fit in this movie. What was it? 8 guys, 10 guys pulling a fucking 500,000-pound plane out of the dirt with a tractor? That's not a thing. Ever.
No.
The landing scene in Las Vegas where the airport is like due west, like it's right there. You could see it from where you're playing at. He's like, nah, I'm gonna land on the strip. I don't got enough time to veer.
Yeah, if you've ever been to Vegas, it's like, here's the airport, and then the strip's like next door and caddy corner. Yeah. It's like right there. It's not hard to get to.
This movie should have just been called Hillbillies on a Plane.
And by the way, even if you can't make it to the airports, there's deserts literally everywhere.
Everywhere.
But that one tiny strip of land.
Go to Google Maps and do like the satellite search and zoom out. Vegas isn't that big. Like, you could veer either way because they're coming like literally down the Vegas Strip. If you go left or right, it's desert.
Yeah.
Just land there. No, we got to land on the Strip.
It's like about to crash land in Hawaii and saying you can only land in the volcano. What are you talking about?
Here's the other issue I have with this movie, along with the other many issues.
Yes.
So, Cameron Poe, he's a criminal, correct? Technically.
Technically.
I know he should have never even gone to
jail. According to the state of Alabama.
According to the shitty judge from Alabama, yes, he is a criminal. Then why are they flying his family all over God's green earth? Why? Because he's a good guy on a plane and he's going to try to take down the bad. But they don't even really know that for a fact.
And it's only Larkin, John Cusack's character, that's doing this.
Well, it's
nobody else is invested at all in this Cameron Poe theory that he's a good guy.
But like Larkin is. But at the end of the movie, when they land in Vegas, they helicopter his wife and daughter to this is apparently in thrillers or action, to an active crime scene where and it's not only an active crime scene, it's by all accounts a disaster. They demolish Vegas.
Yes.
But they're going to fly these two because Poe's getting out. Well, he's got to meet his daughter.
His daughter. Yet. That's what's killing me. It's one thing like the wife is there. Okay, cool. You guys have kind of fucked their life up from Jump Street.
Yeah.
Like the second he got home, you'd just been sodomizing it. So you're gonna throw his wife a bone, fly her out to 7 different locations, just trying to catch a glimpse of her husband. Cool. That kid does not need to be anywhere near this shit.
That kid's gonna go to jail. That kid's gonna go to jail at some point.
It's unbelievable.
She's gonna end up being a stripper. Like this whole.
And then meeting your dad for the first time, he's covered in blood and hair's all fucking mullety, and he's like, "Here's your bunny rabbit," wiping off this bunny rabbit he's been tracking that somehow magically survived.
Yes,
this
plane crash.
And
the best part about the plane crash too is like people are having conversations and fights on the plane as it's crash landing, like they were just having a fight in a hallway.
Oh yeah,
like there's no turbulence. There's no
man, because Swamp Thing knows how to fly that bitch. He knows how to crash land on the Vegas Strip.
Dude, this thing is so ridiculous. Why didn't you put that Bunna rabbit back in the box? Nicolas Cage is a little bit slow. Like if you listen to this in, you can like when you listen to podcasts and stuff, you can do it like 1 time, 2 time. If you dial it back a little bit, just make it a little bit slower. He's Forrest Gump. That's what his accent is.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like. Why didn't you put the bunny back in the box?
It's so I get he's like trying to do this like Southern Creole.
Yeah, it's not working.
He just beats the shit out of whatever he is trying to. it was almost like I was his dialect coach.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, go back and check some of the other ones. I'm not known for my impressions or accents. Not my strong suit. They all sound Jamaican or Irish, and I can't figure out why.
I'm not incredible with accent. I could do the Italian because that's just where I grew up. But like I've seen a lot of movies where people actually in interviews and I hired a dialect coach and I hired a guy who's just does. I just think Nicolas Cage goes into the bathroom, like into the mirror, and he's just like, "Why didn't you put that bunny in a box?" Fucking nailed it. Nailed it.
Dude, that face you just gave in front of the camera while delivering that line was petrifying. That was. I'm kind of backing away from the camera a little bit because you made me a little nervous. You look like a serial killer.
Yeah, well.
But here's my question.
They needed to hire me. They needed to hire me.
Look, I'm a couple states away. I don't give a shit.
You go. I have one more question about this whole movie. Okay. After that, and I'm done. I want to wash my hands of this, but I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Where's my laundry list of fucking problems here? To me, the movie ended when the plane crashed, right? You could have cut to Steve Buscemi's Garland Green, throwing dice at the end. That still have that. But I swear to God, when Nicolas Cage and John Cusack finally meet up again, and they now have this bond, and they're going after Cyrus and Diamond Dog and the Swamp Thing, and they both jump on the motorcycles at the same time, and they give each other that nod. The eye roll that happened in my head, I mean, it was
you saw the back how
far out they came and the roll that they did.
You saw the back of your brain.
Oh my! That was the dumbest shit.
Yes.
They just went, mm-hmm.
You want to know?
We have on Larkin. There's now 2 men I trust. Shut up.
There's the second dumbest thing.
Unnecessary.
The second dumbest thing is when Nicolas Cage jumps off the bike, who's doing the same speed as the fire truck, but yet somehow after he lets go of the accelerator,
it accelerates
and explodes on impact on Ving Rhames, and that's how he dies.
Now, rewind that back just for continuity's sake to when Santino, the drug dealer, who's supposed to be one of the people behind this grand escape, it turns out he's screwing over all the convicts and he's pulling his Learjet out.
Yeah.
A Learjet filled with diesel fuel crashes into a gas station, into the pumps, does not explode until a cigarette is thrown.
Yes.
And I mean, when I say the airplane crashes, I mean the fucking thing is split in half.
I was going to say, it's cut in half.
They ripped the entire tail off. There's gas pouring everywhere. Wires are hanging out everywhere.
Yeah.
And
it's sparking.
And that's smoking. That one cigarette was the one thing that did it.
Yeah.
Yet, now, fast forward back to what you were saying, Nick Cage riding his motorcycle for miles. They're chasing this fire truck for miles.
Yes.
Revs it up, jumps up, motorcycle crashes into the back of the fire truck, and the explosion that comes off of it.
It's huge.
I didn't live through World War II, like London during the Blitz, but that's pretty much what that must have been like. Because that explosion is massive.
Absolutely. And then the other issue I had was with Steve Buscemi's character, the creepy dirty girl in the pool. So Steve Buscemi is a mass murderer. Pretty sure he kills children.
He's killed everybody.
He said that he wore a little girl's.
He wore a woman's head on his hat. He wore a woman's face on his head as a hat.
Yes.
Give him a lot of credit for being able to deliver that line. Because that's a lot harder to say.
But then he sits with this girl. They talk about God.
Yep.
And
They talk about his sickness.
Yep.
There is no medicine for what he has.
And then he walks away. The next shot is empty table. You think he's gone away.
The teacup, one of the teacups, because they were having a tea party, is turned over, broken.
Yes. But then as the plane flies away, like, she's waving at the plane with her doll.
Yeah. So we get to see
are we to believe that this little girl, this mentally ill serial killer, is cured by this little girl singing "You Got the Whole Wide World in His Hands"? Is that
you know why that shot existed? Only reason that scene existed.
Tell me.
There's either two situations. One, it's to set up him singing "He's Got the Whole World on His Hands" when they're crashing in Vegas.
Yeah.
Or two, the original cut, that little ass kid is dead. AF.
Yeah. And
the audiences could not go with him being his comic relief the rest of the movie after he murked this little girl.
Yeah.
Although, so I think that's the one of two things that happened.
Although if he did kill the girl and then sing the song in the plane, like,
oh, it'd be amazing.
That's great. That's great cinema right there.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have saved the movie, but it would have been a huge bright spot. Like, that's
you would have been watching it and you would have laughed at first and you'd been like, oh shit.
Yeah.
No, he killed that little girl.
Yeah, exactly. But it wouldn't have fit with what the movie was, which was a pile of shit mixed with some half-assed comic relief and lazy writing.
Here's once again, if you watched our review of The Rock, I stated my theme, and there was kind of military-esque, like they really shit on the military. Once again, so the plane crash lands at their rendezvous site, where they're supposed to be taken by the drug dealer to Mexico in different aircraft. So they're at this Lerner airfield where the rendezvous is set up. They get the signal from Johnny 23 that the cops are coming, right?
Yeah.
Turns out it's not just the cops. National Guard, they're full fatigues, which, by the way, you're in the desert. Why the fuck are you wearing jungle camo?
Yeah.
Hardly the point, though. They're walking. Once again, they walk into a fucking ambush. If you showed that to a 10-year-old who plays Call of Duty on his Xbox or PS4, he'd be like, dude, you're walking into an ambush. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
They just down. Now, this is a tight alleyway.
Yeah.
Lined with junk cars piled like 10 fucking stacks high.
Yes.
You are not, that is what they call a kill box. Yeah. You're not getting out of it. You're not.
Yes.
In any way. And they just all kind of walk right in, like, nobody's here. I guess we're clear. Nope. Ambush.
So
if one movie can just make the military, I'm not saying, I understand you need them to show how bad the convicts are and how smart they are and how good they are.
Yeah.
But do you have to make them so fucking stupid?
Unfortunately,
like basic training, right?
Unfortunately, yes, you do have to make them that stupid.
Oh, it's so aggravating.
Here's the funny thing. This got a 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
Once again, this was when Nick Cage, and it's funny because this movie came out in 97. The Rock came out in 96.
Yeah.
In The Rock, he's eccentric, but he's not over the top.
Yeah.
Everything he does in this movie is over the top. This is when Nick Cage lost his shit.
Yeah, I think this was the start. This was the beginning of the end for him.
You threw it sense that nobody else in the movie has an accent, by the way. Not one single person has put on a fake accent.
Yes.
Throughout this movie, even the DEA agent, who's unnecessarily aggressive,
yes,
he has his Brit or Scottish accent on still. He doesn't even try and hide that. He's in the American DEA.
Exactly.
And Nick Cage had to put that extra spin on it with his Creole Alabama bastardization of.
I don't know I don't know what that was. This was the beginning of the end for him, and it was only a year apart. It's not like, The Rock was 10 years before that, and
Yeah.
he was trying to, I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't like Brando himself. He just went crazy.
Yeah, expand his like acting chops or whatever. Like I don't know why that was the like. I get it. You're from Alabama. You could have done a more subtle. He went, I don't want your life on it. Like that's
exactly. And his wife, I think, barely has an accent.
Yeah,
his daughter has no accent.
Well, his daughter's
just daddy.
Yeah, his daughter had a little bit of an accent. His wife had a very subtle accent. Like you couldn't just do that. Like that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It doesn't have to be over the top, Jim Carrey. Like it's cool.
Yeah. And that's the problem with like the majority of these movies that we're reviewing is that there are just like one or two decisions you're making where it's like, why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than giving us a job, why?
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
But yeah, that's all I got for this. You got anything else for this?
I don't. I mean, it's a ridiculous. And you remember how when we were talking about Varsity Blues, this is how I would wrap up Con Air. When we were talking about Varsity Blues, we said all the characters are major cliches.
Yes.
But in the best possible way.
Yes.
All of these characters in Con Air are cliches, just not in a good way.
Yes.
The acting's done very well. Everybody takes their lines, they deliver them, they're in their parts.
Yep.
It's just too much of what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Yeah,
I'm glad because when it was falling out of my mouth, I didn't know what I was saying.
This is a perfect example of why I think we decided to do this show. This is a movie that I loved when it came out.
Yep.
Can't remember if I saw it in theaters, but I loved it when I saw it for the first time. I probably watched it another 10 times since then and loved it every other time. And I probably haven't seen it in about 10 years. And I watched it now and I went, oh God.
Yeah.
It was not good. I probably will never watch this again.
There's a reason you can watch it for free on Hulu. Subscribe now.
Subscribe now.
I'm casting a wide. I'm throwing that reel out, baby. Bring them all. Sponsor the shit out of this place.
Exactly. Well, if you don't have anything, I certainly don't have anything, and I want to stop talking about it.
And as a matter of fact, it's about time I go because I'm going to save the fucking day.
Put that money back in the box. For Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews. Thanks for coming in. Like, subscribe, comment, all that happy stuff.